Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we have a follow-up to a video I did the other night talking about Paizo, which is the publisher of Pathfinder, which is a D&D competitor, and Jason Buhlman, who is, I believe, the creator of the Pathfinder system, and he's also a bigwig over at Paizo, saying earlier this year that, he wants Vice President-elect JD Vance to send his Pathfinder books back if he's played Pathfinder. So now some Pathfinder fans are asking for refunds themselves. They're like, well, I supported JD Vance. Can we get a refund? And they're getting emails from Paizo that are saying no.
Yeah,
no,
but technically this guy offered, for Vance to return his books. So, I would, if you don't want people that are fascist, quote unquote, playing our game, because, anybody who doesn't agree with me is a fascist. You're supposed to return them. So they're trying to, and they're being told no, because they're how fascist of them to want to keep control and the money.
Yes, right. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You will get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to clownfishminus.com. Help support the Reef. Check out some paywalled content, which I think we're going to start doing here on YouTube as well. We'll just post the same content. Also, we've got merchandise out there. Thank you very much. So this is a follow-up for those of you who have not been paying attention to all the drama going on in tabletop right now. Everything has gotten weirdly political, but it's not just Wizards of the Coast. It's also Paizo, which a lot of people already knew Paizo was quote-unquote woke. Mm-hmm. But this really kind of drove it home. Now, I don't know if this tweet's still up. It's been recirculated. This was in response to it coming out that JD Vance liked Magic the Gathering. And some people were like, oh my God, how dare that fascist like our Magic game? And that's when Buhlman came out and said, send your Pathfinder books back if you're playing Pathfinder, right? Like, come on, dude. So people are trying to send their books back. We got a couple examples here. This is Thor Odinson, who has actually been following us for quite some time. I said, hi, Paizo. According to Jason, as Buhlman or Buhlman, half the population of the U.S. isn't welcome buying Pathfinder books. Please provide an address where I can ship every Pathfinder product I've ever purchased so I can get a refund on it. Thanks. Ouch. And they did get some responses to this. Here's a response he got.
It was like a form letter, yes.
Yeah. Refund request. Hey, blank. We appreciate you bringing this to our attention. While we support our employees' expression of their First Amendment rights, their words are not official Paizo policy, and any comments and opinions made on their personal social media are their own. I would say, yeah, but he chose to drag Pathfinder into it.
That's what I was going to say. Obviously the answer is, you say you've had that stuff for years. Why would I give you a refund on it?
Right.
However, he's the one that went out there to try to showboat and then basically said, I don't agree with you. So if you play Pathfinder, send it back. He's the one that put that out there. And it's not like he's like Joe Blow who worked at Paizo, Right.
This is the guy who was, as I understand it, again, I'm not a huge Pathfinder guy. I've played it maybe twice my whole life. But as I understand it, he was the lead. He was the main guy, right? He's the Pathfinder guy. He's the face of Pathfinder for Paizo, and he's saying, I don't like JD Vance. I hope he sends his book back. That's not good for the company.
No, but they're not going to give you your money back. They don't want you because you're a terrible person, a fascist, but they don't want to give you your money back either.
Right. And that's usually how it works, right? It's like, we'll take your money, right? We hate you, but we'll take your money. But yeah. But this is the thing. And again, I said in the other video, and I stressed in the other video, he's allowed to have his opinions. He does not have to like JD Vance, but he could have phrased it differently. He could have been like, yeah, I like JD Vance, whatever. I'm not going to play with him.
I hope he didn't play, Pathfinder. That's all he could have said.
But even then, so what if he did? I mean, again, once you sell somebody a product, you have no control over that product anymore, unless it's a subscription service.
Right? Well, it says, we are not currently asking customers to return their books. No one said you were asking. To us, or offering any refund programs outside our standard refund policy. Thank you again for reaching out with your concerns and supporting our products. Well, we hope you find new offerings to your liking moving forward. I doubt it highly. We wish you the very best of adventures ahead. Either way, Rude Dicky, they, he, Z.
So I thought maybe this was not real. I thought maybe this is, that this is like a troll going around or something. Not that I don't believe Thor Odinson, but I had actually seen some other ones first. I'm like, oh, okay, they're just really hamming it up because they're talking about colonialism.
Yes, did you see that?
In the
on their email at the bottom, under the signature. Paizo Inc., headquartered in Woodinville, Washington, lies within the traditional homelands of the, I don't want to say that wrong.
And Sammamish
tribes. I don't want to say it wrong.
Right.
Something people. Following the Treaty of Point Elliott in 1855, these tribes and others were consolidated and relocated to the, I don't even know how to say it wrong, Tulalip tribes of Washington Indian Reservation. Since time immemorial, they have hunted, fished, gathered, and taken care of these lands. What the fuck does that have to do with
your game?
Nothing. What does it have to do with anything?
It has absolutely nothing to do with your game.
Nothing.
Good for them. I'm glad that they're hunting, fishing, and gathering, and everything's going well for them, considering they were rudely moved from their
relocated,
land,
consolidated, and all this other stuff. Yes, I agree.
Did Paizo do that? I mean, again, unless your company personally was responsible for relocating,
why is it
people,
on there?
Why is it on there? But yeah, it's a real person. This is Rudicki, a Roma, Indigenous, Welsh, non-binary, disabled creator based out of Oregon.
Oh my God, they literally have that written there.
And I'm like, well, maybe they're just trying to, no, Rudicki is the marketing and media specialist at Paizo. So there we go, guys. I mean, people are allowed to have different opinions. People are allowed to, identify however they want to. But when you're dealing with a business like this that you want to sell, or at least ideally you want to sell to a general audience, telling people to send their books back is not a good, it's not a good sign.
I know, but I mean, the marketing email is actually handled well, other than the weird stuff at the bottom. But
yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, and people are kind of zooming in on that. Like, I don't really. I
thought it was actually handled pretty well. But I mean, the thing is, though, yes, you can't control what your people say. It was really stupid. Incredibly stupid, colossally stupid of this person to make that comment.
Yeah. And what is going to happen? I mean, honestly, Wizards of the Coast, I mean, they really stepped in it with the OGL was a huge deal. And then they stepped in it with the 50th anniversary, kind of running down the guys. Well, not kind of, literally running down the guys who made D&D and then calling all old versions of the game racist. People are going to pay attention. They're going to be like, hey, yeah, we jumped ship from, and some people said they're going to jump ship from D&D to Pathfinder, and now they're gonna just probably decide to just drop it completely. There are people out there saying, hey, you don't even need to buy any new books. You just go out and find yourself a copy of first or second edition AD&D.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, that's what I don't. What did you think was going to happen? Like, if you said that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was before the election. I think it was back when people were really, 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 really blindsided and under the impression that they were like so far ahead in the polls that there was no chance they could lose. But it was really, really short-sighted. And like, yeah, you said people were jumping to there because they were fed up with D&D. Mm. But now they're going to leave you too. So,
right.
If you want to gain money and you want to gain, those fans that, that people are losing, probably calling them names or somehow pissing them off is probably the worst idea you could probably ever do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. I mean, what's hard about this, Positivity Kitty says, speed it up, guys, speed it up, in reference to Adventure Engine. But the thing here is that you got to realize, like, you're going to have different kinds of people buy your stuff, and you're not going to agree with all of them and whatever. I mean, you have to separate yourself from your business to some degree, right? And I mean, I know there's a whole rabbit hole you can go down of like, well, I want my business to represent my morals and whatever. And that's fine. But you also got to realize that when you take a hard stand on something politically or, from a religious standpoint or whatever, you're going to just by its very nature, you're going to alienate the people that disagree, right?
I'm sorry, this under half moron. Where have
you
you guys been? It has been all over the media. That's why MSNBC and them are losing their shit. Not only did he win the electoral votes, he also won the popular vote.
Yeah.
So that means more for those who can't, understand basic math.
Yeah, so this was that's the thing. I think that's what's kind of frying everybody's circuits is I don't think they realized how many people. I mean, a lot of people that voted honestly for Trump this time, I don't think they were necessarily voting for Trump as much.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people liked him.
The far left activists.
Exactly. They were like, you're better than the alternative.
Right. And that's it. You basically comes down to two viable choices is like, which one is going to, and at the end of the day, people vote for what's best for them, right? They're going to be like, what's best for me? What's best for my business? A lot of people have their businesses destroyed and they might not agree with everything. And that's the thing about it. It's like, just because you cast a vote for somebody doesn't mean you necessarily agree with every policy they have,
No.
but you get a choice of two viable candidates, A or B. You know,
well, I remember back before it was like the political pickling, they had people like when we were younger, you know, you might be registered as one, but you might actually cross the aisle and vote for somebody else because they maybe were the better choice or had better platform. And it went by, you know, individuals and their platform instead of straight ticket, you know, blind straight ticket. Like a lot of people don't even look, they just vote straight ticket. They don't check anything. And I think that that's a problem. It's just because you identify as one or the other doesn't mean that your candidate is the best choice, which is unrelated to this completely. But I'm just saying.
So apparently this, and again, this was from months ago. Just this tweet resurfaced, which I thought was really weird. I don't know if he took it down or what happened, but he did have a follow up here. He said, TTRPGs can be a bridge, but fascists want to burn the bridge.
No, it wasn't the fascist, quote unquote. Okay, well, yes, maybe it was a fascist. It's not the side you're attributing it to.
They want one party rule tied to ideas of nationalism and elitism that despise the others and constantly project a sense of fear that they use to drive power.
No.
I didn't say anything about people who vote
Republican. Whoa.
Wait a minute.
Read that again. Anybody who wants nationalism, elitism, and despises the other and constantly projects a sense of fear to derive power. Well, you sound like everybody that all the new shit they've been doing to these games. You sound like the gatekeepers that have been installed in these places. But beyond that, I'm not talking about Republicans, but you were. That's the state. And my next thing is, if it's okay, you're not supposed to assume that he's talking about Republicans. Why was Gina Carano automatically assumed that she was?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She didn't say Republicans either, but you all rushed to get her canceled.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, and she didn't even say anything. She wasn't like, you know, hey, I freaking love Trump. I love him. Can't wait for the fascism to kick in again. She didn't say anything like that.
No.
It was like, she was just like, don't treat your neighbors like trash like they treated the Jews. That's all she said.
Who is burning the bridges here? And when it comes to gaming and it comes to like tabletop and these kind of things, who's been burning the bridges? Who's been, you know, having one party rule? Who's trying to control the ideas and have elitist behavior, and they want to constantly project a sense of fear to drive power onto people by keeping them out, gatekeeping, shutting them out of the boards? Who's been doing that?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to look at that. Who's been doing that, Jason? Who?
Yeah, there's definitely one side. And I have an interview coming up later this week with Robert J. Kuntz, and he was there at the beginning of D&D, and we talk about how the scene has changed, and he's like, I don't know where this whole notion of like politicizing gaming has come from, but it's
we know exactly where it's come from. It's come from this new group of people.
Portland.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're so pickled that they cannot see anything outside the lens of politics, because they have it in their head that if it's not their way, then, you know, somehow they lose every right they've ever had, which is a load of shit.
Yeah.
But this guy basically flat out calls the Republican out and says, you can't play my game, send it back, then has the balls to say, oh, I wasn't saying about Republicans. It's like, dude, that's like if I said, hey, Biden, if you had this, send it back, or Harris, if you had this, send it back. I don't want people like you playing my game. What would that be? Actually,
I would be kind of fascinated. Like, even if you had like AOC and she bought a copy of, you know, one of our comics or something like that, I'd be like, huh, AOC bought one of our comics. I'd be like, that's interesting. You know,
not that she would, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't really think much of it, because I'm like, well, people are people and they buy things they like and they play things they like. And
he played this back in the day. It was years ago, before the politics have been so bastardized for, you know, and it's just ridiculous. His whole behavior was ridiculous. And instead of saying, you know, I probably should have worded it differently, he tries to backpedal and then sounds even dumber than before. Yeah. But you're not allowed to return it, guys, because they don't want fascists playing their games, but they don't want to give you your money back either.
Well, I think that he probably did hear from somebody at Paizo, because the tweet has been taken down. That's why I didn't see it. I wasn't aware of it until it started making the rounds again.
Okay, so credit for taking it down, but you should have at least been apologetic.
Like, hey, you know, let's not divide, you know, the gaming table.
It's like, I was wrong. I shouldn't have said it. I got heated. It was dumb. I'm sorry. That's all you could have said.
Yeah. I mean, he's allowed to not like JD Vance. He does not. Nobody's telling him he has to like JD Vance. Right?
But the way he presented that was not good.
Send the books back, bro.
And if
like, you speak on behalf of the company.
Right. You're supposed to be better. You're supposed to be an example. And you're behaving that way. It's like, you should at least be saying you're sorry.
So what's going to happen now because of this? And this is what we talk about, the pendulum. Like, you push the pendulum too far in one direction, it swings back harder in the other. What is going to happen now is because of this making the rounds, and it was like all over Twitter, right? It was all about X, whatever the hell we're calling it now. It was all over the place. Now, people are going to latch on to this, and they're going to be like, yeah, we're going to boycott Paizo now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
and it's just like any celebrity that makes a dumb comment about, you know, their latest Marvel or Star Wars film or whatever, Cowboy Bebop, or they make some, you know, they assign political stuff to something and make a big meltdown about it, and then no one watches it and it gets canceled.
Well, they have to, though, I think, for their peers, to make sure that they're not canceled by their peers. Because he just said a couple of years ago that, you know, gaming was for everybody.
Well, apparently not.
Apparently not. But that's what was so weird about it, was this contradicted his other tweet where it was like, you know, gaming is for everybody except for people I don't like.
Yeah.
It's like, well, wait a minute.
And fascists. And everybody, like, if you're Vance, you're a fascist. And I'm like, but wait a minute. More than half the country.
Yeah.
Now, granted, that was before the election.
Right.
But even then, you know, still a big hunk of the country is going to vote the way opposite of you. It, you know, usually is mostly in the middle. It might lean more toward one side or the other, but it usually tends to be more in the middle. Yeah. And it's like, that was really stupid. And you went from being really inclusive, which you should be, to being very exclusive, gatekeepery, and everything else, than telling everybody else that they're the problem. And you could have said you're sorry, and you didn't do it. At least not to my knowledge. Maybe he did. Maybe he did, but to my knowledge, you didn't.
Yeah. So I think he's probably heard about it, but it's just like, now everybody is going to bring up.
Oh, this is a different Maya. Okay. Z, them, they, them.
It's pretty much a.
It says a form letter.
Yeah. So, and that's fine. You know, like I
thought the letter itself was fine.
Yeah,
like, there's nothing in the letter itself.
They must have figured this was going to happen because they already had this thing ready to go. They were like, oh my God, all these conservatives now are going to ask for their money back. What do we do? Just tell them. Well, even then, like, hey, if you had the book you bought the book like 10 years ago, like, how the hell are you supposed to return it?
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I think that, but I understand people being upset about it, but you're not going to get your money back.
Right.
I get where you're coming from. But yeah, I thought the letter itself was well done. The fact that it wasn't, you know, being political, it wasn't being, you know, douchey or anything like that. It was just like, nope, we're not doing this right now, but, you know. And I thought they handled that well. However, you shouldn't have got to this point in the first place.
Yeah, and this is what, you know, we try to talk about here, is that a lot of times you do have rogue employees or rogue individuals at companies that say things that actually can cause the company a lot of damage one way or the other. And the company itself is a company, right? It shouldn't have any particular politics. It's just an organization to make money.
I like what you highlighted. The fuck do Native American lands have to do with role-playing games?
That is a damn good question.
And then underneath it, did you read underneath it? Is it just me, or should Paizo be returning their headquarters to the victims of land theft?
That is...
If you really aren't fascists.
If you really are fascist, give your land, you should be donating all your money.
You should be giving your headquarters back.
That you dared... The white men built their headquarters on native land, you know, but that's okay. They've been relocated. They're fishing and hunting, and it's all good.
And it doesn't count because they're
playing Pathfinder.
So
they're playing Pathfinder now.
So.
They're playing Pathfinder. They're role playing as if they still had their original land.
Right. So it's okay.
It's all good, guys.
I just think it's funny. I mean, it's just when you see like the backlash happen in real time. It's just like.
Oh my God! Yeah, I agree with this. I think they're throwing him out.
I agree too. I mean, the letter was well done. It was very professional.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna wrap this
up. The whole thing at the bottom. Yes.
Yeah. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.